talk about that child before the founder.
Growing up, I never enjoyed going to school. Why? Because, children were recognized only for marks. Nobody in my school days could have imagined that Mukesh Sharma is going to be an entrepreneur.
How early that realization came to you?
That was in 11th grade.
Did it matter when you got into, whether it is staff quota and you're saying like the third level of, quota with which you got in? Did it matter once you got in?
There are a number of incidents that happen in your life which make you become what you become.
Trying to solve a defect or prevent an expensive defect to society, or was there something more innate to it around your experience or background growing up?
That's a very good question. I'm glad you asked. So the thought was basically, people would say that our education system needs to be transformed. Our education system needs to be better. There are so many people, who were going into depression. Why? Because of marks.
Is that a common practice in school?
Creating entrepreneurial mindset, creating Olympians, and then making teaching a sought after profession.
I mean, obviously, someone who specialized in quality over time as an entrepreneur. What do you think in education defines quality?
Well, in education, quality can be defined as the number of students who show up every day in school.
It's hard to measure quality sometimes.
Exactly, that is what I'm saying. See, infrastructure is a good thing to have.
Yes.
But that doesn't define quality.
Yes.
That doesn't define anything.
You've also created a formal fund for entrepreneurship.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Can you walk us through how you put that to practice?
I said, I'm keeping aside 1 crore rupees as fund to support children who are able to come up with ideas and build something that is meaningful.
One way to make failure safe.
Celebrate the failure.
Hi, welcome to Inspired. Every school leader carries their own experience of education into the institution they build or lead. Sometimes it's gratitude, sometimes it's dissatisfaction, often it is both. My guest today grew up in Pilani, built QA InfoTech into significant technology and quality engineering organization, and then chose to enter education by founding Prometheus School. His journey brings together entrepreneurship, technology, student voice, sports, parenting, and institution building. Today, I want to explore not only why he built a school, but what school leaders, teachers, and parents can learn from the choices, assumptions, and tensions behind that journey. Mukeshji, welcome to Inspired. It's great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for inviting us to this beautiful campus. I'm really looking forward to our conversation.
Likewise.
And one of the first things that I talk about in my conversations is about the space and the beautiful infrastructure that school owners build. But I want to do a little bit different with you, because obviously this is a great space and I've been here before, and people will see around the facility, the focus on infrastructure, the sports, everything that you're doing is state of the art. But I want to go back in time to really talk about that child before the founder, right? So, for our listeners, I want you to briefly start with where your journey. We know that you grew up in Pilani in an education background, and we've heard you in conversations about, how while it was an opportunity to be exposed to education in a place like Pilani, but it also came with certain challenges. And that has been core to how it has fueled your journey in life. So why don't you take us with that?
Thank you very much, Ankur. So it's a pleasure for me to be on this Inspired.
Thank you so much.
So growing up, I never enjoyed going to school.
Yeah.
Why? Because, children were recognized only for marks. Nobody in my school days could have imagined that Mukesh Sharma is going to be an entrepreneur.
Wow.
I mean, I remember teachers making remarks that, if you don't study, you're going to end up,
Nobody.
you're not going to be successful.
Huh.
Not that I didn't study. I mean, yes, I had my own challenges. I used to have a lot of questions,
Okay.
and during my time, most of the schools, even today, they don't encourage children asking questions.
Question.
And
Curiosity is looked down upon.
curiosity is looked down upon. Creativity is killed. I mean, imagine being part of school, any school for that matter, where you are basically sitting and attending sessions, taking down notes,
Completing the
remember,
syllabus.
rote learning, and go take assessment. I never enjoyed that. Anyways, school was not on the cards when I was growing up. I wanted to start a business.
Okay.
I wanted to be on my own. I wanted to be able to help my family, to do better.
How early that realization came to you?
That was in 11th grade.
By
when I
11th
was-
grade, you already knew ki, bhai, I want to do my business.
Yeah. By 11th grade, I had identified certain opportunities.
Okay.
I found an investor also, but the investor, although the investor trusted me, but he went ahead and met with my father, saying that, I'm going to give loan to Mukesh. And my dad said, what?
We don't
Finish
take
your
loans."
school before you think of doing anything.
Okay.
Okay. And again, I think my parents were also right in their capacity. They wanted to make sure that, that I complete my 12th, that I finish my graduation and all that. But I always wanted to. And that is the reason when I started Prometheus School, I ensured that we encourage entrepreneurship. We encourage entrepreneurial mindset. We push children to be problem solvers. So anyways, got into BITS Pilani. I think I scored decent percentage in 12th.
Okay.
But based on my percentage, I wouldn't have got into BITS Pilani. It was through staff quota.
Oh,
I
wow.
got into BITS Pilani. My degree was, if there was A group, which is the top group, then B group, then C group. C group also, the last degree that used to be C6. That is the one that I got.
Oh, wow.
But in the first year, I worked hard, got
Yeah.
a dual degree. So my
Absolutely.
CGPA was 9 out of 10.
Amazing.
And that's when you are on the same platform and you're, either you work really hard or you stay where you are. So I wanted to get dual degree.
Did it matter when you got into, whether it is staff quota and you're saying like the third level of, quota with which you got in? Did it matter once you got in?
It didn't.
It didn't matter.
If you think about it,
मतलब student body in universities or in colleges does
No, so
वहाँ
there
पे
is-
किसी को पता नहीं होता है
no,
कि आप कहाँ से
there is that differentiation. I
Oh,
used
there
to be
is?
called Loki. I used to be called Loki.
Okay.
These are staff children. That is always there, right?
at the college level also.
At the college level also. So, people knew me as local, so they used to have
okay,
that
okay.
abbreviation Loki.
Okay.
But I was good in sports. I was doing well in academics also. So at BITS Pilani, I think
Did some of this sort of fuel your intention
Absolutely.
to say, hey, I'm going to really take this
Absolutely.
to my stride and prove myself?
there are a number of incidents that happen in your life which make you become what you become.
Of course.
Right? Which basically tell you that, what? You need to tell these guys
I'm going to turn this
that
around.
you are way better than what they are thinking.
Yes.
Right? I am going to come back stronger.
Yeah.
So that is essentially what happened. There was an incident wherein I wasn't given opportunity to swim in the deep in swimming pool. Okay.
Wow.
And the coach was also right. Coach didn't want to take a chance. I wanted to, and in the past there were deaths that happened in deep
of
water.
course.
So he was trying to play safe, but I was like, I can do it. He made me do 16 rounds, so around how many meters? 400 meters.
Wow.
25-meter pool. Okay. So after I finished, he said, you had to do it in 8 minutes. I said, you didn't tell me that. Without stopping, without taking any break, I completed 400 meters. Now you have to let me go in deep. I used to fight. He would say no, because again, anyways, within a couple years, I became swimming captain at BITS Pilani.
Oh,
I
wow.
was the water polo captain. I also became joint secretary at the sports of the sports club. So there are a lot of learnings that happened. Again, my first break of entrepreneurship came in 2003,
Okay.
which was a successful venture, QA InfoTech.
Okay.
And that was
That's right out of BITS.
No, so BITS I graduated in 1996.
Okay,
I had
okay.
to work
Wow,
7 years.
7 years, yeah.
But in these 7 years, there were probably 26 to 27 failures that I had to go through.
And were these in a professional environment or these were entrepreneurial failures?
No, so these were, I was working for an organization,
Okay.
and after coming back, I used to work on startups, right?
And where was this?
This was in India also. In India, whatever that we did, so I used to work for a company called DCM Data Systems.
Okay.
Finish my work there, come back home, take tuitions.
Yeah.
Wanted to start a coaching center, math coaching center.
Oh, wow.
But for that also you need to have
How
capital.
ironic, right? In school, math was a challenge and you wanted
That
to
was
start.
in 7th grade. But then whatever incident that happened in 7th grade,
It fueled you.
it fueled me and made me work harder and prove to them that, I can do better.
Absolutely.
So 97 out of 100 in 12th was pretty good, right? Then again, coaching center, I needed space, 3 months advance, like 2 months security, and didn't have money.
Okay.
So ended up giving the idea, just took some tuitions, took care of my expenses. But then there was a project that we did for a company called High Tech.
Okay.
They were into manufacturing of some V belts or whatever, rubber belts and all. So Mr. Ankur Gupta ji, I think, we did a project for him. The overall cost back then was around 1.4 lakhs.
Oh, wow.
And that was in 96, 95, 96. Pretty good amount for me and Eldon Rosario, who was my roommate and good buddy. He also became an entrepreneur, by the way.
Okay.
He left for US in 96, 97, and I left in 97 for US.
To US. Oh, you were in the US. Yeah. Okay, got
so
it. Yeah.
DCM Data Systems gave me an assignment.
Okay.
Excuse me. So it worked very well. Did my work in US, but I never settled. I continued to work. I worked in the same organization for almost 5 years called Quark Systems.
Yeah.
That was in Denver, Colorado, during which I came up with multiple ideas. But again, every idea required funding.
Yeah.
And I had the guts to go up to the CEO and founder level and talk to them and pitch. But back then, the startup ecosystem was not, the kind that
exists today. The ecosystem was not ready yet.
It wasn't. So, market goes down, the individual changes, right?
Yeah,
Stance. Anyways, I gave up on the product ideas. Something like Tracto I had thought back in 1999.
Oh, wow.
Because there was a company called On Health in US.
Yes.
And, again, every problem that I've solved is based on my personal experience
with it.
Wherein, I felt that, we could solve it. We could do it. Why can't there be a website wherein, individuals can go and look for a doctor who can solve your problem within the radius that you're looking at. So anyways, finally QA InfoTech happened. I moved back to India. I always wanted to be in India to serve my nation, to be closer to my family.
Absolutely.
So 2003 is when I moved back. And
the idea was already in incubation, or you came here and then the idea came
No,
about?
so 2002, I was working at a company called Thomson Learning.
Yeah.
Okay. Thomson Learning was part of Thomson Group.
Yep.
They had 4 divisions: Thomson Financial, Thomson Financial later became Thomson Reuters, but Thomson Financial, Thomson Healthcare, Thomson Legal, and Thomson Learning. So I was part of Thomson Learning.
Okay.
My idea was to set up an office of Gale in India.
Okay.
Gale is a publishing, online databases and all. But the CIO loved it. Everybody was, ready. Okay, Mukesh, we can do it. And what ended up happening was there was, I think, Thomson Learning got separated from Thomson, and there were management changes.
Yeah.
As a result of which my idea was again put on the back burner.
Oh, God.
But again, one good thing that happened was the CIO understood that, this is not happening, and he may also be leaving. He said, Mukesh, why don't you do this? Why don't you set up your own company? And we'll be happy to do a LOI with you.
Oh, nice.
I said, okay, great. So we
Even
had
better.
we had a LOI signed with him.
Wow.
But after signing LOI,
So first customer before company starting. That's amazing. Yeah.
So LOI is just letter of intent.
Yeah,
we'll
that if you
engage
do this, we are gonna do business
Yeah.
with you. Yeah.
So and that was very
Very
good
big.
positive step.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, I left the organization. The projects were not coming. And I had already decided that I'm going to move back. But even after resigning, they said, you continue in contractor capacity. So I worked there for, a couple months before I moved back to India. But once in India, you had to have a job. I mean, I already established my company.
Yeah.
That happened in May 2003.
Okay.
When
Right
I had
after
come
you
for
moved
my
back,
when I had come for my sister's engagement.
Okay.
Okay. Now, so these guys, they said, we'll give you a project, but we don't know. So there was uncertainty.
Yeah.
I ended up going to Adobe Systems and getting a job there as a
Achha.
quality engineering manager. So I signed up with them and worked there for 2 years.
Oh,
But
wow.
as soon as I started with them, they, these guys reached out to me saying, "Hey, we have our first project." Then I called my brother. I said, "Rajesh bhai, you can do it." So
Achha.
I put together a couple guys because it was a simple project.
Okay.
So these guys, they started working. I was working full time at Adobe. And
Okay.
Adobe, you get in at 8 a.m., but you can leave only at 10 p.m. because we used to work with California.
Okay.
Right?
So
So
US
managers-
hours, yeah.
US hours,
West Coast hours,
yeah,
which
West
is
Coast
even
hours.
tougher.
It was crazy. But I loved it.
Yeah,
I,
of course.
the one thing that I've learned in my experience is that, every relationship matters.
Absolutely.
That, wherever you are working, you have to ensure that whatever you commit, you deliver on time.
Absolutely.
And you build relationships not just for the project, but for life.
And it's a life skill, to be honest.
Oh,
yeah?
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because my Thomson Gale relationships counted, I got to start a company.
Yeah.
And Gale continued to be my client for 21 years.
Wow.
I started in 2003, and even till now, I think they are working with Gale.
Oh.
I took exit in 21.
Okay.
So
Yes. And
18
we'll get
years
into
they
that,
were,
yeah.
18 years they were my client till the time I was there.
Wow.
But anyways, I continued to work for Adobe for a couple of years. In between, I felt my team grew at Adobe also. See, that was the period when even Americans were concerned that the jobs are moving to India,
India.
right? The offshore development center and all. So within
Back end office thing was a huge trend.
yeah. So it was a challenge, but again, I think I was successful in a way that I was able to convince people that let's do the back burner project. You guys focus on this. Nobody's going to leave. Or nobody's going to lose a job.
Yeah.
Let's focus on building more. Using 24/7. Using the India Offshore Center as an advantage.
Yes.
And that worked out. My team grew from 3 members to 21 member
Wow.
at Adobe. And then, I started to feel like...
Oh, this was at Adobe also.
Yeah,
you helped Adobe start an offshore office in India.
Adobe was started in India by Naresh Gupta ji.
Okay.
He's also, I look up to him as my mentor.
Okay.
Somebody who I can reach out to, somebody who would always support,
Yeah.
When I started QA InfoTech and I started working full time
Yeah.
there, he was the one who told the Adobe managers that in his probably leadership meeting that, hey, if you need to ramp up in your QA or quality engineering, reach out to Mukesh.
Okay.
So Adobe also became our client, and
Yeah.
anybody and everybody who I had worked in any capacity, they were our client. The problem that I was trying to solve back then was quality engineering was always considered as a secondary job.
Okay.
People who would do software testing were looked at as, losers.
Just yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't program.
Yeah.
That's why you are a tester. I wanted to change that. I thought software...
It's like you don't take this by choice. Kuch nahi mila to you are stuck with this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I said, I want to change that.
Yeah.
Software testing is very, very important, and it has to be independent.
Absolutely.
And it has to happen in parallel with development.
Absolutely.
And that is something I feel that I was able to help establish. From 2003 to 2012, I can tell you the evolution, the transformation that happened in the software industry, wherein software development engineer in test was paid pretty much equally.
Because it's just as important. You could code
absolutely.
as much as you can, but if you have not delivered and if you've not figured out all the kinks around it or any challenges that could possibly create a end goal outcome issue,
absolutely.
So they're the first line defense in some ways.
Yeah, they're the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
But then I wanted testing not to be an afterthought. I wanted us to prevent rather than um, uh, detect later.
Yeah.
So
Prevention is better than cure. Wali baat hai. Yeah.
Rather than finding the issues later in the cycle.
Yes.
Once the product is built, then you're going in a repeat cycle, right? So that problem I was able to solve, and that's when I decided 2012 that Mukesh, you are done. You've achieved what you wanted to. Successful business is on autopilot. Start playing golf. So I started to play golf.
In 2012.
Yeah.
Wow.
And since then I've been playing almost every day golf.
Achha, even now.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow,
this
nice.
morning I played at 4:45 a.m. Okay.
Oh wow! I did
so
not know this. You're an
round
avid
of
golfer.
yeah.
Amazing.
So during my golf days, there are folks who know that when you're playing golf with somebody, they figure out your caliber.
Yeah,
they know
absolutely.
your honesty, integrity. They know your resilience skill. That even though you are losing, you'll bounce back.
It's a great relationship building sport.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So there are folks, who said, Mukesh, what? Why I take early retirement? Why don't you do something? Associate with us. Do something.
Huh.
I always wanted to start a school, especially after I started QA InfoTech and we had funds. But to start a school, you need a piece of land. I wasn't an educationist. I had zero background in schools. And, I believed in, creating a school wherein children are encouraged to be risk takers. Children are not asked to shut up. They are encouraged to question. They are celebrated, not just for marks, but for the unique learner attributes that they have. But the problem was, how do I buy a plot? If you go to the authority, they will ask for report. What is your background? My background was technology.
Yeah.
So,
how can you give land to a
So
business person who was trying to do a school?
Absolutely. So I was trying
and
to
they would
figure
get
that
the
out.
negative out of it first.
Absolutely. So I was just trying to figure out how do I do it. And if you want to buy land in resale, then there is white and cash, and we were totally software export company. I didn't want to do anything hanky panky to build foundation of a school on it.
True.
So that's why I said not starting. And God, again, if you what I also believe is that if you dream of something, things start to happen.
Yeah.
And this opportunity of meeting with Sri Manoj Gaudji, who's the chairman of, who used to be the chairman of JP Group. I had a meeting with him and I was discussing, and this is the time when Supreme Court had asked JP Group to pay 2,000 crore to Supreme Court.
Oh, wow.
Right? And keep it there. So that is when I ended up meeting with him, and I was telling him, what I want to do next and what we are building and all that. And he said, Mukesh, we've got a school. I need funds. If you're able to, if you want to make this transaction happen, I said, I would love to.
Oh, wow.
And
so there was a school running here already?
No, so he had a plot.
Achha, okay, because
they were going
developers
to build
have to allocate land for school.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's an integrated township. So they had space, and I said, I'll buy it. So it was a transaction that was very easy. So I got the plot. My goal was never to build a school for privileged ones. The school that I wanted to build was for talented children of below the poverty line, for people who cannot afford good education.
So before you tell me that, I want to step back a second, right? You said that you always wanted to build a school, and you spend a big part of your professional life, being the gatekeeper, like we were saying earlier, of things getting defected or catching things before it became an expensive defect to solve, right? Was building a school rooted in trying to solve a defect or prevent an expensive defect to society, or was there something more innate to it around your experience or background growing up?
That's a very good question. I'm glad you asked. So the thought was basically, people would say that our education system needs to be transformed. Our education system needs to be better. There are so many people, who were going into depression. Why? Because of marks.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Where is the
pressure.
holistic development?
Yeah.
Are we creating, learners who can thrive anywhere in the world? Or are we creating, learners who are going to do well, dress up every day, go, get ready and do some work? Or create innovators?
Yeah.
How do you make that happen?
It's like unshackling that colonial mindset, right?
Oh,
We were all
absolutely.
trained. This education system was back day was for like training clerks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, I said transformation at the government level, I can keep sitting on the other side of the table and complaining that, this is not right, that is not right. What is my role? I mean, God has empowered me. I mean, I have reached a certain level wherein I can take a decision, I can build something. So I said, why not build an institution wherein, we ignite fire in the belly of every child. We, fuel. We tell them that, you are a problem solver. You can do it. Give them that positive reinforcement. Give them that, encourage them to be problem solvers, innovators and all. So I chose to be the problem solver. I said, I will build an institution wherein children would love to come every day. They will even question their parents, why is the school closed on Saturday or Sunday? And I've had that, I've heard it from multiple parents who come and tell me that, my children are asking, why is the school closed today?
That's a great metrics for seeing through your vision, that if someone is enjoying their time at school is then when they will miss it, even on weekends when most kids look forward to the weekend.
Absolutely.
Very interesting.
So when I built this,
and this somewhere solves that growing up idea of you maybe not wanting to go to school and wanting to create a space where new generation students don't have the same experience you did.
Absolutely. So when I set up this school, the thought was very clear. Every child has to be celebrated. And I knew that every child is unique. You don't know what the child is going to become, 20 years down the line when they enter the school.
Yeah.
25 years down the line. If I could become an entrepreneur, I know that most of the children who are coming here, they have the potential to become what they want to be, what they desire. What is important is to show them the path. What is important is to let them be, to give them that safe space wherein they can explore.
Yeah.
But at the same time, do not tell them not to question.
Yeah.
There are no right or wrong questions. So my thought was, when we were establishing Prometheus School, to build an institution wherein we create this entrepreneurial mindset. And second one was to create Olympians. I just didn't want to have children being introduced to a particular sport and then let their parent take them for advanced training elsewhere.
You wanted it to be serious, not just like, oh, we are a school that promotes sports. You have a very strong mission about Olympians coming out of this place.
Oh, absolutely. And 2024, we've already had an Olympian from Prometheus School. So I'll come to that. See, Prometheus is a school wherein, children are coming from very well-to-do families,
yes,
right? Children who have everything in life.
Yep.
Sometimes they have that complacency that gets built in.
Entitlement, I would imagine.
Right. Yeah. And, the fire to be able to go all out, work hard, get up, show up every day, practice, train hard. That was missing. And part of it is, some of it also got influenced because of the COVID. Because children started to study online.
Yeah.
And then they got kind of hooked with laptop, web series and whatnot.
Yeah.
So they'll sleep late, get up late, although they show up on time in school. But for someone who has to practice, they have to be here at 5 a.m.
Yes.
Our swimming coach, Karamveer ji, would be here at 3:34 every day. And he works very hard with all the swimmers, high performance training and all that he provides. But the point that I'm trying to make is, in 2022, we started Prometheus in 2019, 30th September. 6 months down the line, COVID hit us.
COVID hit, yeah.
So imagine a school with 39 students, and the whole school was functional, but we had to shut down.
Shut down, yeah, of course.
We didn't close even for one day. We switched to online because of my technology background.
Yep.
It helped us. It helped us significantly.
Yep.
We were able to use something that I call OTT, Prometheus OTT, that we built, which was which allowed children to watch the class from anywhere. They could search, what was covered in the topic. They could ask question directly to the teacher, not having any other child see the question.
Yeah.
And teacher could decide that everybody should see the answer. I mean, so we
Almost like an early version of AI that we see today, like with like the whole the
absolutely.
interface questioning and all of that.
that happened because I used to own a company called Perseverance IT Solutions, and we had a product called Phando, Phando.
Okay.
That was used by a few media houses also.
Interesting.
For generating revenue, for monetizing their videos.
I want to, switch back for a second, because I feel that, here you are a successful entrepreneur, almost, autopilot, you have a good lifestyle, you're golfing, you're learning, you're engaging, you're building relationships, right? It's not uncommon for, successful entrepreneurs and business owners to contribute to education through philanthropy. Right? I'm sure those opportunities may have come to you at time to time as well. But why take this whole hassle of कि यार हम खुद ही करेंगे, हम खुद ही स्कूल बनाएंगे?
So you're absolutely right. The first thing that I did after I took exit was to give back to my alma mater.
Okay.
I donated to BITS Pilani.
BITS Pilani? Oh, lovely.
I also became founder trustee with Plaksha University because they are new age university.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah, it's collective philanthropy wherein a lot of folks who are doing well in India and abroad also, they came together and they said, let's build an institution wherein it's not just engineering, it's applied engineering where children actually get to
I've been there.
build.
It's a beautiful place.
Oh,
they're doing
absolutely.
amazing work.
So I'm glad that I chose to do that, and I will continue doing that for other universities. I think
Oh, so even though you're doing this, you still have philanthropic engagement as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the education space.
Oh, absolutely. That is very
Amazing.
important. Prometheus School, again, now that we have this school established, we are focusing on whatever revenue that or whatever surplus that we generate.
Yeah.
50% of it would go for taking care of all operational expenses of a school that I'm building from my private company, which is for
Still building.
yeah. We started construction just a few months back.
Is that the original
That's
vision?
the original thing.
Oh,
So,
nice. For the
talented-
underprivileged.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Talented girls,
underprivileged.
residential school, not
Wow.
a very big space, but for 500 girls, talented girls, 6th onwards, completely free education.
Residential.
Residential.
Wow.
I'll personally ensure that they get to college, that they do something meaningful in life.
That's amazing.
These are girls who come from background wherein parent wants them to stay back at home to take care of the little one. So they end up they stop going to school because they have to take care of the little one.
Wow.
And parents go for their livelihood. So that is essentially why we thought that whatever that we are doing here, that has to be meaningful, that has to serve the underprivileged. So Prometheus School is not going to establish a chain from Prometheus School revenue. It's not going to be another Prometheus School that is coming out of the surplus that Prometheus has
So
created.
the ripple effect is impact rather than just
Absolutely.
more of the same thing.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And the other important thing that we are trying to fix is teacher. We all want the best of the best, but are we really able to attract the top talent in teaching?
Which is the most difficult thing everywhere you speak.
And the reason is simple. You pay them well, they'll come.
Yeah.
You pay
But is money alone enough?
money and environment, culture of the institution. Culture wherein, teachers are seen, teachers are valued, teachers are respected, teachers are recognized and rewarded. Money is very important factor. Money is the primary factor. Most of the people are working to take care of their family.
Of course.
So money has to play a role. Now, if you don't pay them well, why would somebody, leave a job, where they are being paid in corporate much more than what they are being paid in school? So I said, Prometheus School is going to distribute 25% of the surplus to teachers.
Oh, wow. Is that a common practice in schools or
No, it is not.
20. So it's almost like a 25% bonus is distributed to the teaching
25%
community.
of the surplus. So if let's say a school's revenue is 60 crores and expenses are 45, you made 15 crores, which is in
25%
surplus.
of that goes to the
So
teachers.
it is
Wow,
that
that's
much amount,
substantial.
which is significant, and it is taken. It takes into account the number of years the individual has served the school.
So there's a calculation metrics
There's a
around how
calculation.
you
Absolutely.
determine the flow of that 25%, who gets how much.
Absolutely.
Makes sense, yeah.
So again, three problem areas that we are trying to fix: creating entrepreneurial mindset, creating Olympians, and then making teaching a sought after profession.
Wow. And I think that is the need of the hour because, there are schools who will talk about it, but, I feel the talk is a lot more than the actual execution. And things like this will make, sort of teaching to be cool again, teaching to be sought after because
absolutely.
people will start to see that as it always had that historical respect, go back to the Gurukul time, that teaching was a noble cause. But in today's day and age, to bring back that respect, the financial strength behind a teacher has to come into play as well. That makes sense. Obviously, someone who specialized in quality over time as an entrepreneur, what do you think in education defines quality?
Well, in education, quality can be defined as the number of students who show up every day in school. The
You mean attendance?
attendance. See, attendance you can make mandatory.
Exactly.
But the willingness,
Okay.
the involvement, the energy that every teacher brings to school, are they? So quality should not be just looked at as infrastructure. You've got a great
Which
infrastructure.
is the easiest thing people. It's the marketing front, basically.
Quality is, are you actually inclusive? Quality is, what is the culture? What is the happiness quotient? Is the school really taking care of students' voice and choice? Does the school, take inputs from teachers and staff and bring in changes? So, teachers' voice and choice, students' voice and choice, parents' voice and choice. Wherever that is happening and the implementation is happening, quality, that is what I would call quality.
That's a great way to look at it. My only question on this would be that it's hard to measure quality sometimes. It's not like you said, infrastructure, very tangible. Oh, they've got this much square feet, this many fields,
So
this
that's why
many
I'm saying that
facility.
infrastructure-
How do you come to measuring that
See,
and communicating that?
exactly, that is what I'm saying. See, infrastructure is a good thing to have.
Yes.
But that doesn't define quality.
Yes.
That doesn't define anything. But it is the culture. It is the outcome. Are you, so again, as an institution that started in 2019, today, 6.5 years, we are already close to 1,100 students.
Wow.
There are schools that have been in existence for 15 years, 12 years. They are struggling with 600, 700.
Yeah.
We don't have any seats.
Wow.
Why? Because whatever that we are doing is quality work. Parents see the difference in their child. They come and tell us that, I see significant change in my
And that's a
child.
word of mouth that spreads?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It does. And whatever that we say, we do it.
That's a very interesting point you bring, right? Because that's a challenge with a lot of schools, especially in India, all across India, and in every segment. It's not just the privileged or the premium schools or international schools. Even like a normal school, which is, may have a lot of students, but this whole challenge around how do you really evaluate the experience of students is something that's very difficult to measure. And how does a school owner listening bring your learning journey into their play key? How does my school stand out where I am able to build a reputation on that consistent delivery? What do you think they can do in their environment with their local context to help build that kind of reputation?
See, I think, one needs to get out of the office and be seen, interact with students,
Okay.
interact with staff.
As founder also.
I do that. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, if when you walk out with me, you'll see students would come directly and they'll bring up their concern if there's
Yeah.
something, you know, that they want change.
Yeah.
There are processes in place, but they have they have that flexibility of walking up to the founder and talking. They know that they are not going to be told to don't go near him, don't talk to him.
That's the culture you've
That,
set.
yeah, so they are fearless, and that's what I say, that everybody has to. You need to be fearless. Ask.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I encourage children to make a mistake, to fail faster. And when you say that often, see, everybody will make mistakes. Students are very smart. This Gen Alpha, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, they are smart kids. They'll make a mistake and then they'll say to their tutor also, to the form teacher or to the principal, they'll say, Mr. Sharma has said that, you know, you are allowed to make mistakes, but, you know, never repeat and learn from it.
Yeah.
And what do they
There's
say?
no response to it.
Then they say, okay, now you know that you can't repeat it. You can make a mistake once,
Yeah.
but so, you know, they get that, at least they can refer to something and say that this is something that is allowed, but you can't cross the line. So there is a boundary also that we've.
And I want to come to that, but the learning that I'm drawing for the listeners is that really creating a space and an environment in your school which encourages, you know, I mean, think of it. A child may feel like they're the smallest part of a larger environment, right? And to empower that smallest piece of the stakeholder to say, hey, you can speak to anyone. To the person who started this whole environment,
Yeah.
you can go directly speak to them. And if you have the courage to speak to them, everyone along the thread would automatically become accessible.
Absolutely. Imagine the confidence
Confidence
that these
you're
children
building.
carry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their confidence.
They will never be in a room where they will be afraid to speak up.
Oh, absolutely. And that is what we need. That is the skill that AI cannot replace.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is something. See, technology will come and go.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
These are
it will
just tools.
continue to evolve.
Yeah.
But when you have this confidence, when you are ready to fail and get up and then fight again, which is resilience,
Yeah.
right? When you're open-minded, you respect everybody's views. You know, you may have your own views. So these are life skills which are very important, and we emphasize a lot on these. Discipline.
Yeah.
I mean, if we are supposed to start something at 12, we start at 12. We do not start at 12:01.
Yeah.
Why? Because we don't
value
let
of punctuality
Yeah,
is there.
absolutely.
I think one more thing that, you know, we talked about fail fast and all, and that's something more widely implemented in businesses nowadays. Can you think of, with your experience, other business practices that schools around the country should bring into their environment?
See, I think majority of the schools are, you know, run in ways that, you know, I wouldn't like to comment. What I would say is let us do what we didn't have when we were studying. Let us try and create an environment wherein you know, children are encouraged to be problem solvers. Let us not run in schools and institutions as a for-profit organization. So my advice to the school owners and head of the schools is to not get influenced or not follow others. You have to start thinking ahead. You have to think ahead. You have to think about what is important, what will happen 5 years down the line, and start focusing on that. See, I feel technology is going to play a very important role. I know many schools have, you know, this restriction on use of AI. I say embrace AI.
Yeah.
I want teachers to use AI. I want students to use AI. I want students to build, leverage AI to build solutions. Okay. I also want to say that 5 years down the line, and I'm saying 5, it could be
Sooner.
Okay. You'll have pods in classrooms.
Interesting.
Like, you know, human-sized pods with students, you know, Gen Alpha would be sitting with their headphones and these are controlled.
So the breakout rooms basically turn into pods?
No. So the classrooms.
Yeah.
This is a classroom.
Okay.
The time that we spend teaching in a classroom where every learner.
So instead of individual desk, there is individual pods?
Yes.
Okay,
So
fair
every learner has their own pace of learning. When a teacher is teaching in a class, even if it is collaboration, whatever that is happening, the pace of learning is different.
Yeah.
When you have a pod in front of the child, that pod, which is AI powered, knows about the child more than the teacher. And even if teacher knows every child, the pod would ensure that you have a conversation. Okay, so today let's focus on numbers. Okay, here is where we were yesterday. Let's quickly do a revision. The child is interacting with the pod. Okay, and everybody is interacting at their own pace. The topic is same. Okay, but what we call individualized learning,
Personalized learning or individualized learning. Yeah.
that would happen.
Yeah.
And teacher's role would change from subject matter experts to more of counselors
Or orchestrators of learning.
or counselors.
Counselors, okay.
I mean,
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, because well-being is going to be very important. Well-being, emotional well-being, because the technology is going to play its role. Okay, and children are going to be influenced by whatever that they see online, which is the series or whatever content that they are consuming. Okay, in classroom, they, instead of 40 minutes period, it will reduce to 20-25 minutes, because that's all you need.
Yeah.
Revise this concept and now focus on this. Finish this, go play.
Yeah, and it could be that if there are 20 students in a classroom, each one of them could be better at certain area of the subject matter and not good at certain areas. The personalized learning in the same 20 minutes could focus on the area that individual child has to improve upon, and ultimately you could still come out of that 20-minute time frame at an equal set where
absolutely.
everyone sort of caught up with the same level of basic
Absolutely.
skill or whatever the baseline you set.
Yeah.
But I want to, it's a great mashup that you're talking about, because we were talking about your core philosophy of every child is unique, right? And now with today's technology, there is solution to really cater to that uniqueness need
To
of the
cater to
child.
that, their pace of learning.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own pace of learning. It takes time for me to understand. But with AI, when you leverage AI knows how to, AI will basically give you prompts.
Yeah.
AI will understand you better.
It's a more of a real-time assessment and adjustment to
And then
tailor it to their need.
It has all the information. It'll save your information, right?
Why would these pods be in a classroom then? I mean, this could be at homes, it could be in libraries. Why do it
very,
together?
Very good question. You would still want to have that that connect, social emotional learning, right? You would want students to do their learning in a group in designated time, and then they will go and play. Then they will go and practice for their musical performance. They'll go and do their theater.
Just thinking out wildly, like, do you think like, the coursework we could do at the pod we've established at school, the admission comes with a pod at your house, you finish that and you come to school as a sports academy? I don't know.
See, possible, but then you are see, parents also do not, and I would not encourage my child to be using that pod at home and studying and not having that social interaction.
That's the challenge. I feel that we need to find the right balance, because there's two things, right? जैसे हम individual plan की बात करते हैं, right? So now we want to, if there's a 24 student classroom and we want to give individual learning, where do we draw the line that it doesn't become 24 different individualized lessons? Because if that has happened, then you're better off doing it at home, right? Where does that line get drawn so that the camaraderie, the classroom experience, the interaction, the learning from your peers, how does that get inculcated in our school classrooms going forward?
So that you will still have group discussions, you will still have activities, but you are not going to make a child look bad in front of others. When you have in today's context, if you think about it, Okay, if a teacher asks a particular question and only four students raise their hand, that means they only know. The remaining 20, they start to feel that I don't know.
Or
They
some of them maybe are lacking confidence or the fear of
absolutely.
being wrong. That's
No,
one of the biggest thing
absolutely,
that you hear.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But then, when you have their individualized learning taken care of that way, then you engage them in group discussion. Because see, we are talking about subject, we are talking about academics. They are assessed on that. But when it comes to, the life skills, you are having a group discussion on a topic that is given to everybody. Everybody prepares on it. You do debating. There are, multiple ways of. I'm not thinking about people discussing about a particular topic in biology. When they go for practical, they are going to do their whatever practical that they have to do. Then they are going to be doing something in the lab. But when it comes to the instruction and solving some problem, understanding, that can happen at the pod level. I work every day. I come to my school every day.
Yeah.
The idea is not to sit in my cabin. The idea is to meet with students, to meet with teachers, to hear them,
Yeah.
to solve their problems,
Yeah.
to make school better every day, and then also thinking ahead, what we may need to do 2 years down the line. I mean, I've talked about sports. We built great sports infrastructure.
Yeah.
Our students, were not showing that zeal, that fire. I said, no problem. Open it up for the world. Whole India, children who have got fire in their belly should come and practice here. They
Wow.
started to come. They started to come at 5
So as
a.m.
an academy.
Yeah, so
oh, wow.
we started that 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. they'll practice. Then they'll take a break. Again practice fitness, strengthening, strength conditioning.
Yeah.
Then they would be here till evening. I built a hostel for them. So we've got residential sports academies. Now the next step. So thinking ahead, I'm talking about thinking ahead. The folks who are practicing here for let's say table tennis, they will find a place in UP Prometheus team. UP Prometheus is basically a team in table tennis ka IPL, which is Ultimate Table Tennis.
Oh, wow.
So table tennis also has IPL kind of
Premier
a
League,
structure,
yeah.
right? Premier League, which is UTT,
Okay.
where I own a team. So I
Oh,
own a team
nice.
in table tennis. I own a team in golf at national level. I own a team in shooting. And these are sports that we have, that we encourage.
And students can be part of this team as well?
Why not? So there are multiple ways that they can be part of
Okay.
the team. They can go as sparring partner.
Okay.
They can go as just intern
Okay.
to learn sports
Exposure
management.
itself, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I basically look at what is it that we do next to make sure that we raise the bar for Prometheus.
And switching gears to students, you talk a lot about student empowerment in your environment, and we talked about that anyone's able to talk to you. That's a
Yeah.
practice that school leaders can learn as well. How does that voice to students come into play at Prometheus?
Voice from students or to
Yes.
students?
From students, how are they comfortable? How do you build that environment where students can freely speak? They can talk about policies. They can talk about anything.
Oh,
Now. They can talk about
absolutely.
curriculum.
So the way it works is when you connect with them at their level during lunch break. See, these breaks play a very important role.
Interesting.
Lunch break, you after they've had lunch or while they're walking towards cafeteria, you are there. They will come and talk to you. You have to build that rapport. You have to connect with them, and the students often. I mean, even now, if we walk downstairs, they'll come to me and they'll say, "Mr. Sharma, we did this. Oh, by the way, we've got 3 pickleball court, but we've only got 4 rackets or 6 rackets.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, for 3 courts, 6 rackets. I think we should have 12."
Mm.
I said, "That's a valid point. Why we don't have 12?" I sent a message, got it done. A few students brought up a point that, Mr. Sharma, we should not be giving water in a paper cup.
Okay.
We should have stainless steel. I said, okay. I mean,
They're innovating in their mind also, thinking about sustainability,
see, there are
logic,
multiple
everything.
things. There are multiple things that are happening here.
Ah.
When you hear them and act on their suggestion, it builds their confidence.
Empowers.
And it spreads the word. Everyone else gets to know that, oh, you just have to go and speak with Mr. Sharma. You know, he will, in all probability, he'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Mr. Sharma, today we do not want to do this. We want a PE class. We want a, this particular thing. Although I don't take a call, on behalf of the respective principals,
Yeah,
but I do say that, let me do this. I will go and speak with principal ma'am. Why don't you also drop a note with a CC to me? And then I'll have a conversation.
Yeah.
So that way they know that if they send something to me, it'll happen.
And it doesn't undermine your team's sort of authority in the organization and all of that. Makes sense. I think obviously it's great to hear that, but it also maybe comes with a challenge of certain unreasonability. And where do you draw the line between student voice to entitlement?
No, so
and especially students coming from different privileged backgrounds.
I don't think at school level we have any challenges with regards to entitlement. It is more to do with they want to do something
and they want to improve their environment.
Yeah, we always support. I mean, there are only maybe a couple suggestions wherein I would have said, sorry, that's not happening. But otherwise, and that too also, even if the ask is something that is not possible, at least they have the guts to come up and ask. And you're making them understand why we cannot do this.
Yeah.
So that conversation, the ability the courage to stand up and question, the courage to walk up to you and ask, that is important.
And, you were talking about how you want the students to feel, hey, it's okay to make a mistake, fail fast concept that we were talking earlier again. How can schools listening sort of bring that into their ecosystem about, failure is a developmental thing rather than a humiliating thing? What practices they can follow?
See, it's basically conversations. You have to have that conversation, not just with the child, but with the parents also.
Interesting.
What do we want? What do you really expect from your child? Okay, there is no parent who would say that I want my child not to be happy in life. Every parent wants the best for their child and wants to see their child happy doing what the child wants to do. Okay, the child is having trouble in understanding physics. Okay, now 5 out of 20, parent comes for the PTM. There are 2 things that can be done. Parent knows that my child is not studying at home. My child is not studying at home and we are concerned and we want to hear from teachers so that we can go back home today and,
implement whatever changes, take action.
Take action. So I tell my teachers that, what is important for us is to celebrate the child. Do not compare the child with other children. You have to, if you say in front of the parent that your child was 4 earlier or 7 earlier, this time he's got 5 despite having 5 musical performances that he had. I think we should celebrate it.
So look on the bright side.
Focus on the positives. The moment you say that, Ankur has done amazing. We are happy with whatever that he's been able to get because he was involved in whatever, blah, blah, blah. His potential is 20 out of 20. That one statement in front of the parent, which is in favor of the child, is going to make the child think. Child is going to go back and say, my teacher believes in me. My teacher believes in me. My school believes in me. I can do it. And you will see the positive. But when you say, he doesn't sit in the class, he creates nuisance, then you are passing that. What is going to happen
at home? It's a judgment,
basically.
Yeah.
The child is not sitting at one place. Child is making noise. Child is, moving around in the class because child is not able to understand whatever that you are teaching. So if you can't solve it in the class, let us not pass it on to the parent. Instead, pass that positive note so that the child goes back and starts to say, what, in this digital age, I can figure out whatever concept that I want to learn, I can do it. They'll start trying to figure out things on their own. And when they come to class, they are going to be a better individual, better learner. If
Makes sense.
if you tell, somebody that he's a loser, he'll never do this. There are few like me who have that, okay, I
The
will
fire to
prove.
come back.
Yeah, I'm going to
Yeah.
show it to you.
Yeah.
But others, they'll start to believe.
Yeah.
If you think about
Yeah, if 5 people around you say the same thing, you start to self-doubt yourself, and then you
absolutely.
start to believe that fake truth, if you may, and that becomes your reality.
So that is one way that you start to engage with children. Start to point out the positive, give positive reinforcement. It has amazing power.
How
You'll
does
see transformation.
how does this play into the peer-to-peer repo among children? Because sometimes a child who may be struggling and their marks, their peers might think, "Arey, this guy is not so good in, or this guy is dumb, or whatever," right? And that creates more of a social pressure in
So,
the peer group in the children also.
That is
right?
the culture. I call it culture. At Prometheus, we don't have that culture. We recognize children not just based on their marks. We recognize children who are good in, leadership. We recognize children who've got, let's say, AI, cyber security. They are experts. We recognize them. Now, whether they are good in academics or not, we are, recognizing and calling them out, so they get that confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, at Prometheus, it's not just about marks.
Wow.
And that is why children are more confident. I remember there was a parent, who called me up, and I'm talking about a learner who was in 12th grade and who was scared, who had moved from another school because, we just started in 2019. So, having somebody in 11th, 12th would be from some other school, right?
Yeah.
The child was struggling, lack of confidence, was standing outside our school, the then school director's cabin, and had tears in his eyes. So I spoke with him. I said, "What happened?" He's like, "I don't know. I'll not be able to." I said, "What is the worst? You will fail. So what? What would change? Have that confidence. You will pass. I guarantee it. Believe in yourself." That boy has got admission. He passed. And I saw him as an evolved individual. That positive reinforcement helps. Now he's building some entrepreneurial thingy. He's building an app or something.
Wow.
Came to me to raise money also. I said, first is go to your dad, raise money from family. Then comes
Then
friends.
come external.
Count me as a friend. I will. But I need to see how much family has invested. Where is your product?
Interesting. And again, I know entrepreneurship is very sort of central to you, and you build the foundation around the institute also for that. Is your aspiration that you create a lot of future founders out of this ecosystem, or is it, just a greater agency among children? Is that what you're trying to create?
It's more to do with problem solvers. Not everybody can become an entrepreneur. And not everybody wants to become an entrepreneur.
Okay, fair enough.
I want children to become what they want to become. I want them to figure it out. I don't want them to, just clear their 12th and then, think of a college. This is where I want to go study there. But what? Experience. Figure out, would you be willing to do that kind of work? And if I am able to create entrepreneurs, that will be a blessing.
Absolutely.
I'll be very happy.
So what we're really saying is that you can demonstrate entrepreneurial capability without even starting a company. And that's pretty powerful.
Oh, absolutely. Because those are skills, entrepreneurship is not just, not all entrepreneurs are successful entrepreneurs.
Sure.
You could be a failed entrepreneur. But the learning that is there, that you gain, even in failing, stays with you for life. As long as you are a learner, you will benefit from it. I would rather work, in my organization with somebody who's tried, who's failed, but continued to try and then, chose to work.
There's a lot of resilience that comes with failure.
Yeah.
Right. But where do you decide that, okay, if someone's considered, like I've got 5 failed ventures. Your story also had a few failures before you.
26, 27.
Wow. Right.
Tried multiple. See, it's basically it's about at what state of life you are in. How much risk can you take?
Sure.
How much money do you need to have to be able to take care of your family expenses? I mean, if you have to, be on the road to be able to do something, then,
Doesn't make sense.
Otherwise, I would have become an entrepreneur back during my school days only.
You had to take care of the basics first before you
and-
could. I mean, it's ultimately risk deployment, right? Deployment of risk. Got it. I think you've also created a formal fund for entrepreneurship.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Can you walk us through how you put that to practice?
So, what I did was, and this is something that I did in 2020, 2021 academic
very
year.
early in your school.
Yeah, I said,
Okay.
what, I'm keeping aside 1 crore rupees as fund to support children who are able to come up with ideas and build something that is meaningful.
Like
So
prototyping.
working model.
Okay, working
So
model, okay.
what colleges provide is incubation center.
Yeah.
So I said, what? At school level, I can provide incubation center.
Nice.
These children, they don't need to go to college, complete 4 years. I'm talking, and the reason I say that is because these are digital natives. They have
Yeah.
information on their fingertips. If you have that in your culture environment wherein, children are able to identify problems, ideate, and then work on solving it, then that would be an accomplishment, right?
Makes sense. So how does this fund work?
So again, so far nobody has leveraged it.
Really?
There were a couple. And
Okay.
maybe we need to. So you did your research. In 2021, I sent an email. It's there on our website also. There are students who reach out to me.
Okay.
There's this guy who emailed me yesterday, Advait
Achha.
Soni.
Okay.
He's got this business idea and he wanted to meet with me. I don't know whether he's coming today or it'll be next week after school news. He wanted to discuss that idea with me. I always say, first, your parents have to invest in you. Once you've done something, your parents...
That gets commitment from home.
Oh, yeah. Then I will. So, that is something that...
But, my question becomes that, okay, in some ways, like you said, college has an incubation center, which means there is a dedicated time in their curriculum and in their life in college, which is dedicated to, develop their idea. Are we able to give that at school level as well?
We are giving that. So we've got... on entrepreneurship, there are sessions that are happening. Children are building their products. We recognize them. So right now, we are not giving... our learners are not coming to us for money from that fund that
Funding
we kept aside.
perspective, yeah.
But the ones who give their presentation after building something more like mini Shark Tank,
Yeah.
right? The winners get, I think, 21,000 or something. That is just recognition,
Reward sort of
and
a thing.
reward. And if they continue to build on it, I would be happy to give them additional funds.
Is that accessible to your alumni as well?
Why not?
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. That is the reason that I told you about this boy. He came to me, but I said first is...
But I think it'll be very interesting, maybe part of what, there is that it breaks through the psychological barrier, because often people will stop thinking about ideas because in their mind, what is going to stop them is the first thing that comes in their mind. So now, at least letting a fund like this hanging as an availability allows them to think beyond कि भाई fund तो हो जाएंगे, तुम idea पे काम करो.
Build something meaningful. And I see that potential in number of students here.
I see that as a very strong psychological play more than anything, for students to really engage themselves.
See, the reason that I set up that amount aside was because when I was growing up, I didn't have access
You didn't
to
have
funds.
access to such funds.
And now we are dealing with students here who come from very well-to-do families. So the first investor has to be the parent. And then I could be the second investor when we have something, wherein we can say, I am investing this much, I'm giving you incubation space, and I will provide you legal and whatever support in setting up the organization. We will keep 5% to 10% stake. Okay, that is the level that I want to see students at.
That's amazing. And I think in this certainly opens the mindset of a child, having that structure already in place, having clarity of this needs to happen. You need to have a working prototype, you need to have your family be part of this ecosystem, and what that fund and support would mean. Any idea that sort of comes to your mind where like यार अगर ये वाला idea बच्चे और काम करे या इस पे उसका investment आ जाए तो then I would love to support this. Anything that has come to
There
you?
are number of ideas. There are number of ideas. In fact, I don't want to give those ideas
Of course,
here
yeah.
on the podcast.
Huh.
But within the school, we are engaging third-party vendors to solve certain problems. These are digital natives sitting here; they can solve it.
True.
Why engage them for every little thing? I mean, that's how. See, there is a. You have to go step by step.
Yeah.
The first step is to solve a problem that is within the school.
Immediate vicinity. Yeah, that's absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I guess most powerful solutions come from very basic thing around your day to day, and encouraging students to do that could be very powerful. So, I mean, you've been able to create that because, you have certain resources. Maybe not everyone listening may have certain resources to be able to allocate that. What can they do in their environment to, in simple ways, encourage and develop those entrepreneurial mindset in their schools?
See, even if they don't need to necessarily fund the ideas, okay, they need to recognize and reward the students who come up with ideas. They need when you start recognizing students who are identifying problems within the school and working towards building a solution for it, then as long as you are calling them out in assembly and saying that, hey, we are proud of this individual, here is an entrepreneur in making, right? And issue some kind of a certificate, which stays with them for life. Because that will play a very important role in their portfolio when they apply for a college, which is, one of the top ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Ivy Leagues and all. They would say, oh, okay, so this individual, this learner is not just good in academics or not just academics alone, but also a problem solver.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're basically, it's that reward system that you can create in any ways which makes the child
recognition,
encouraged.
So reward through recognition only. See, you're not giving any financial
Sure.
support, but what you are doing is, because it's a problem that they've solved within the school for the school. If it is something from outside, then you have parent body,
True.
right? I mean, if I'm talking about government schools, then I don't think that if these the head of the school reaches out to startup fund, to writes to the ministry that looks after the startup fund to say that, hey, why shouldn't we consider encouraging entrepreneurship at school level and have some certain fund allocated to schools wherein they come up with ideas.
Yeah.
So I think, again, I look at it as an opportunity that the schools have.
It's a proactive opportunity that
Yeah.
that needs to be pursued, and it's more about that mindset thing that you're saying.
Yeah,
कि,
look,
hey,
we need-
fund is not required.
Yeah.
You just need to create the right environment, and that any school can imply.
Oh, absolutely. And the reason that I do what I do is because I want us to get out of that creating educated labor. I want us to create learners
Well said.
who can go anywhere and thrive, who can make their presence felt.
Adapt, innovate, all of that. things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think I want to switch gears to technology, and I know we talked about a little bit AI and the pods and all of that. There is a constant fight, I feel, that is happening in school, at home, between screen time and responsible use of AI or responsible use of technology in any way or shape or form. Because the classic challenge is like, okay, can you keep them remote from it, or how much do you expose them to it?
That's a very good question, and I'm glad you asked, because that takes me back to what we are doing at Prometheus School.
Okay.
We took a conscious call back in 2023
Okay.
of reducing the screen time. 2022 is when students came back to school
After COVID. Yeah, okay.
and I started to tell everybody that it's high time we need to stop having children bring laptop to school.
Oh.
Okay.
So where more people are moving into like fancy labs and computers and
we
smartphones and tablets.
we said no.
Wow.
And in fact, 2 years back, I took a bold decision of doing away with the MYP, IB MYP.
Okay.
See, IB MYP.
You were a continuum school before that.
We were a continuum school. Now we have IB PYP, which is a great program.
Okay. Yeah.
IBDP is again a great
Very
program.
good program. Yeah.
IB MYP, imagine a child, who's getting into his teens and always on laptop. All the research is happening on laptop, and the kind of distraction that they had. You're trying to research somebody, you get a message from Discord, right? You get pulled into some game. They're playing online.
Yeah.
Teachers
Very hard
can't
to
figure
control.
out.
Yeah.
Teachers can't figure out also.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
They
the kids
can't.
are smart.
Yeah, because they are digital. They are smarter than us. They are smarter than me.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay. It's just the age and my
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
But what do? We need to, children from 6th grade to at least 9th grade, reduce the laptop time. We do not allow laptop. We switched to Cambridge. We said pen and paper. Use pen and paper.
Interesting.
We want to keep them away from screen. We want them to, leverage computer, leverage internet, leverage AI to build something. For research, do whatever research that you need to do when you go back home.
Okay.
And if we are allowing laptop, those are on a particular day for a particular session, but it is not in every class.
Very limited and very intentional, if you may.
Absolutely. Because see, we don't need to teach fish how to swim.
Yeah.
These guys are digital
It'll take
natives.
naturally, yeah.
When I did my engineering or my school days also, we didn't have computers.
Yeah.
I didn't study computer till 12th. College mein also first year, I think, we did CP1. But my grade was D. A, B, C, D, E was the fail. But I made D.
Yeah.
Computer programming 1 D, which was Pascal. Computer programming 2 in second year, again D. Or it could be C. I don't even remember. But I ended up starting a company in IT.
Computer company or a technology company.
I didn't want to be glued to computer, and I don't want our students also to be glued to computer. They need to be, we need to, if we want to have them build, life skills, we need them out of, away from screen.
So what should a school invest in today? Giving that context of you're very focused on how much technology exposure you're giving or screen time exposure you're doing. Where should a school owner be investing today?
See, again, every school owner has their own budget. They know what they can do, what they cannot. I would just say that depending on what they can, they should give more time to children to play, to learn a particular skill, to debate, because these are skills that AI cannot replace. They should have a sports period. They should encourage students to figure out what they are passionate about and work on their passion. They should help students get internship. Internship also is not easy because organizations do not want to take chance of having a
11th
teenager,
or 12th year class child in their school.
Yeah, but again, I mean, you have to have that ecosystem wherein your students have that extra edge.
Absolutely.
So we do that. I mean, we provide whatever opportunities that come, but then I also have another one which is called the Edge. Wherein our students who want to build their portfolios, we get them to whether they want to work, in sports science or sports medical, I would say sports science, or they want to work in digital media.
Okay.
Whatever stream that they want to work in, we hook them up with.
With like businesses
with an
to go
organization.
intern in the offices? Oh, amazing. Yeah.
So 15 days to 3 weeks to 4 weeks. Whether it is investment banking. I mean, you don't know what investment banking is. They don't know, how money makes more money.
Yeah.
Whatever that they are studying, it's all theoretical.
Yeah.
When they go and spend time in an institution, in an organization that is into that space, they learn a lot. And then they figure out, oh, this is not my cup of tea. I'm not going to be doing it.
So, I mean, this covers the student's lens. There's also a teacher's lens. Like, where would your advice, what would your advice be for teachers in terms of how and what they should be learning now, so that, you know, जो common comparison होता है कि भाई AI versus teacher, I mean, it's established that they have to go hand in hand, right? So what they can learn now so that it strengthens the AI, strengthens their judgment, their ability or capability to bring the best out of the child.
Well, teachers need to continually upskill themselves. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for teachers to deal with the digital natives that they are dealing with. Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha is very, very, very smart.
What do you mean by upskill?
Upskill meaning, let's say AI is already there. How are we leveraging AI? Is it just Chat GPT? It's not just help in writing emails or things like that, but they should start leveraging it to create lesson plans, to create individualized learning plans based on whatever level that, until this pod thing comes, based on whatever level that the students has. They should leverage AI to make their classroom more engaging. There are lots of ideas that they'll be able to get. I'm not saying do not use your out-of-box thinking, but when you have data, which is coming from multiple sources, with one interface you can get it. Why shouldn't you use it? Right? They need to learn the tools that can, they need to learn the tools that can help them in teaching and learning.
And keep innovating around that. What can
Absolutely.
how can they bring more practice or better content for the students that is more relatable to them?
Again, engaging. How do you make your class more engaging? What kind of experiments, what kind of games that you can have within the class and teach the concept? And I see that happening at Prometheus.
That's amazing. One thing that, that comes out in conversations often is that, teachers and school as a larger ecosystem feels that, bhai, we can control while the child is at school. How do we control what the child is getting exposed to or not getting exposed to when they leave the school, especially at home, right? That's the next best place where they spend majority of their time. What is your advice to parents to help be aligned?
So I always tell parents to take their digital device. They should have a time, 8 p.m. the digital devices should be with you. 9 p.m. the digital devices, laptop and everything. Switch off your internet.
Oh, okay.
Switch off your internet. When I've got at my home, the internet is in our bedroom, so we switch it off. Yeah, because they will watch movie, they'll watch some series. See, Gen Alpha doesn't need to study for 8 hours. They can do whatever, our time and their time, there's significantly different.
Their efficiency and the tools accessible to them is like next level.
They have all the information at their fingertips. How to best learn this, unlearn, learn. They will do it.
They'll watch a 5-minute video and they'll sort this whole thing out.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in that environment, how do we protect, human capability through education? Like, what part of human capability must education protect most in this age of AI?
That is something which I already talked about. You need to have children not just be on computer in school. Have them engage in discussions. Have them talk about solving problems, right? As long as the schools continue to focus on out-of-box thinking, encourage, appreciate that, hey, challenge the status quo. How would you challenge the status quo? Why are we doing what we are doing? Why can't we change this? So as long as that is happening, this problem will not happen. The problem that you talked about, that, in this AI age, how do we encourage, what was it?
Human capability to be more protected in the age of AI. Like, how do we encourage more of that human skills? I mean, I know playing interacting in the
absolutely.
outdoors, those would be an important area that you've shared our core values for the school here. So that makes sense. And and parents have to be part of it as well, because you can have all the restrictions in school, but going home, the child has unlimited access to screen
No,
time and all
I
of
think
that.
today's parents, especially the international schools, their parents have become
They're sensitive to
sensitive.
around.
They know, but then we have to keep reminding them.
But what's the hardest conversation you have to have with parents?
Uh, I don't recall any hard conversations. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
So
common
I'll tell
questions,
you.
yeah.
So there are a number of things that happen, right?
Yeah.
Parents getting that anxiety
Yeah.
when the child has to select the subjects in the bands. Okay, that is
Yeah.
when they are transitioning to AS level,
Ah,
which is 9th grade, from Cambridge Lower Secondary, that is 8th to 9th.
9.
Um, Parents have that anxiety, my child should be doing these subjects, and this is must. They are involved, which
A
I
lot of
appreciate.
pressure.
They are involved.
Yeah.
They want the best for their child. So when they were asking too many questions, I said, what, why don't you let your child be? Let the child take a decision. How many of you have done your degree in one particular thing area, and
And
still
your life is different, around completely different.
there wasn't anybody, right? I said, whatever that they choose today, they'll
Yeah.
at least have that. They'll feel responsible that they chose it. Nothing is going to happen
Yeah.
if they don't take. If let's say they don't take math,
Yeah.
oh, they won't be able to get admission in this college.
Yeah.
Why? Why that college only? What is it that the child wants? By 9th grade, students should be able to take that call. And I'm saying this about this Gen Alpha.
Ah.
Okay, they should be able to take their call that these are the subjects that I'm going to take. And when the school is giving that flexibility, that within 2 weeks, if you want to drop something and take something else, you can.
Yeah.
So a few parents were like, yeah, I think it makes sense.
Absolutely.
But again, it's a process. In the coming years, you will see parents will also let their child be.
Letting go,
Yeah.
being a parent is also a skill set
Yeah.
that us parents need to
Oh,
work
absolutely.
on constantly.
Absolutely.
I feel like there has to be like a parenting school also.
Very, very important.
I think that's one skill which is very
See, I
much in
I
demand.
really want to have more sessions with parents, because I know that parents also enjoy
hearing
about these and learning from it.
And
that,
they're also
okay,
learning to be a parent,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, even though I am around the education ecosystem, I get stumped around, as a parent, you struggle with situations at home around school.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're like, I don't know, So I think that's an area that we all need to continuously work on as parents.
Yeah.
As we get closer, towards the end of the conversation, there are a couple of things that I want to focus on. One is what I call as a learning audit, where I'm going to ask you some rapid fire type questions, and
Okay.
I want you to just answer to these questions in 1 or 2 words.
Okay.
All right. So it's going to be like a one thing, one way type
Okay.
questions that I'm going to do. So you ready?
Ready.
Okay. So one thing every school owner should stop doing.
Letting the school run by the team only. The school owner should be at the school.
Lead from front, basically.
Lead from front. Yeah.
One thing every head of school should do every week.
Play with students.
Okay, good. One burden school should remove from teachers.
Dealing directly with the parents.
Oh, okay. One behavior parents should reconsider.
Expecting school to take care of all the problems. To making school responsible for everything that the child is doing.
Or is everything that is going wrong.
Yeah.
Nice. One business practice school should reject.
One business practice school should reject. I mean, for me, it is not a business. I'm just trying to think.
Or one practice that the school should reject. Common administrative practice. I
Okay.
don't know.
School should reject. School should reject assigning a PE class for for catching up on other subjects.
Okay. Replacing the PE
Replacing
class
PE
with
class
like
with-
make it a catching
Yeah,
up
yeah.
session. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, very interesting. Very common also.
Uh-huh.
One metric school leaders should watch closely.
Happiness quotient.
One way to recognize a child without labeling them.
Use it's credible.
Okay.
And recognize. You're not labeling. When you recognize, it's not label, right?
Okay. So positive references are not labeling, is what you're saying. Labeling
Yeah.
is more of a negative connotation.
Negative, yeah.
Got it. One way to make failure safe.
Celebrate the failure.
One education belief you are still questioning.
Exams.
Whether to have them or not have
Yeah.
them. Okay, interesting. I want to close with a dream reflection, so to speak, with you. That imagine that you're a Prometheus student meets you 20 years out from today. They do not tell you their marks or what university they went or the wealth or the achievements that they have. What would you hope to notice in that person that they have become?
What would I hope?
What would you hope to notice in that child?
Happiness. Is the individual happy? Because I can figure out when I meet with somebody, I can immediately figure out that are you happy? That reflects. So I want to see them as someone who's grown as a happy individual.
What is...
Were you expecting something else?
No. I mean, I'm genuinely curious because a lot of what you've created is a very strong reflection of who you are, how you have arrived in where you are, right? And 20 year, 30 year out is a long time. And that's truly when people start to think about like, hey, what have I created? And what does that tell you whether your school succeeded? That, I was curious about that.
So again, I know that Prometheus students are going to be leaders, innovators, problem solvers. They'll do well in their respective areas of interest. So I know if I happen to meet somebody 20 years down the line, I'm going to be meeting with somebody who's accomplished, somebody who's happy.
But for you, the most important thing is to be able to see them being happy.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. That's a good pattern that we have seen today.
That's the key.
I think on that note, Mukeshji, thank you so much for your time today. It's been very insightful. What I loved about our conversation, and I hope our audience will as well, just the passion and the energy that we have seen in our time today. It takes a very passionate entrepreneur, a school founder to be able to build great institutes. And we've experienced just sitting in this conversation with you. So thank you so much for sharing your insights with us.
Thank you, Ankur. I had a great time. I am actually inspired to do more.
That's great to hear. And one of the things that I would love for as a takeaway from this conversation is for more entrepreneurs to see that next chapter in their lives. It's not just philanthropy that you can do by contribution, but you can actually take your experience and exposure and build something that's going to last a long time.
Absolutely. I think instead of expecting somebody else to solve the problem that you want to solve, you take
the mantle in your hand.
And then solve it.
Absolutely.
And I think I've been able to do that. Now I'm on to something bigger.
That's great. And we look forward to hearing more and more about your journey. And all the best to the new school, which is going to help you complete full circle of your original aspiration. So we look forward to seeing and hearing more about it.
Yeah, sure.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Mukeshji's journey reminds us that schools are not transformed by philosophy alone. They improve when beliefs become classroom practice, when teachers are trusted and developed, when students are heard but also guided, when technology remains in the service of human development, and when founders build institutions that can eventually stand beyond them. The true success of school may not lie in whether children fulfill the ambitions adults set for them, but in whether they develop the confidence, competence, humility, and judgment to shape a meaningful life of their own. Thank you for joining us on Inspire today. If you find this content valuable, I would really appreciate if you can like and subscribe, and most importantly, share it with someone who may find value in the learnings from the education founders that we bring on every month on the show. This is your host, Ankur Gupta, signing out. I will see you in my next video.